Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? First of all, I just want to say how much I appreciate your patience. I know this episode came out Saturday night, but in retrospect, I think it kind of worked out in my favor because, so this is probably going to be one of the most discussed episodes of Super up until this point, and it has been, and I actually was able to watch the episode last night, all right, and I needed time to process it, and then as I began like going online and reading some of the comments, the consensus that I get is that, well, this was supposed to be like episode 100. This was supposed to be like the staple, like, yeah, episode 100 DBS, let's go. This is the 100th episode, and it's beastly and it's amazing. And unfortunately, that's not what I'm seeing. And in fact, what I'm seeing in terms of the comments regarding this episode is mainly the common denominator. The majority of people seem to think of this episode as an extremely, extremely mixed bag of an episode. Like on one hand, some people really, really enjoyed the episode, and I happen to suspect that the people that really, really enjoyed the episode loved it because of the action, the action sequences, which, to be fair, were very good. I actually really enjoyed that aspect of the episode. So as a fan, as an action fan, I thought this episode was great in that regard. However, there's the other hand of people that are actually threatening to drop Super because of this episode. And so I think it's important to sort of look at both sides. So long story short, if you liked the episode, it's probably because you were able to sort of, tone down your brain a little bit and just appreciate the episode, the flow of the episode, the action evolving naturally within the episode, which, there's nothing wrong with that. If you disliked it, however, most of the reasons for disliking the episode come from a lot of inconsistencies within the power scaling. Now here's the thing, because I feel like there's a common misconception within the fandom about what it means to discuss power scaling. Because, it's like, oh, you're the power level people. Like, you only care about all these technicalities within the show. And I think it's important to note, to become aware of the fact that when people criticize or talk about or discuss power scaling in a shonen, in DBS, we're not really talking about power levels or power scaling. What we are really discussing, what we are really critiquing when we talk about these things is the writing of the show. That's what's at stake here, and that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. So first things first, the episode starts, okay, and I know there was a scene in the beginning of the episode that a lot of people did not like. Krillin has just gotten eliminated, and 18, she makes a comment that just didn't sit well with a lot of people. She basically shows no empathy for the loss of her husband in the tournament. She says something like, "And you call yourself my husband? What happened to all the money you spent on the equipment, to train your ass off? What a loser." She doesn't say that, but that's the sentiment that she kind of transmits through her words. So a lot of people did not like that because it kind of makes her look like a bitch, especially since in the previous episode to this one, we saw Krillin literally rescue 18 from getting eliminated. So a lot of people just didn't like that. Then we go to Kaba, and he's approaching Vegeta, and not a whole lot of stuff happens there. He just kind of transforms. He takes out two dudes, eliminates two dudes, which is pretty cool from a Universe 6 perspective, from a Kaba perspective. It's like, wow. Because he does it so casually, like it's not a big deal. Yeah, both of you are out. Then we get the whole Caulifla situation, and I personally really enjoyed her in this episode. I know some people, have begun kind of getting frustrated with her because of her attitude and stuff, but I really enjoyed her in this episode. I mean, I enjoy her, period. I like how when she begins throwing punches, she has like this battle cry. She's like, "Durya!" So she puts in the work there for a little bit, actually eliminating Porky Pig, sumo wrestler, or rather Porky just kind of cracks the kachi-kaching, the platform, and just falls off, and he's like, "It was a pleasure." So that was fine. I just think that it's important to not let the kachi-kaching, the material that the platform is made out of, become a joke, because it's supposed to be stronger than the strongest substance in Universe 7, and if you just turn it into, standard rubble, standard earth, then that's really like, it's really not that hard to begin with. But it's supposed to be. Then after that, she decides to go challenge Goku. I'm not really sure what happens to the Yadradian that she kicks away. Pretty sure he doesn't get eliminated, because then we would have seen Zeno just, tap the God pad and eliminate him, but that doesn't happen. So she actually kicks him away, which is fine, because, he wasn't really doing anything. He was kind of just being annoying there. To quote Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z, like, Yadradians aren't really powerful.
So that happens, and then she just, begins to talk to Goku, and I thought it was kind of weird. Like, this is something that kind of took me out of the episode. So they're literally talking there for a big chunk of time, and there's nobody else attacking them. There's nobody else interrupting their dialogue, even though it's a battle royale. Like, okay, maybe you can say that the platform's really big, but still, like, you would still have some opponents show up like every once in a while. But no, they actually converse. They have a pretty lengthy dialogue, and Goku actually kind of tries to scale her at first. He's like, so you can go Super Saiyan, that's cool. And then she actually activates this mode that was rumored that she would have, a more bulky version of Super Saiyan. And Goku just completely dominates her and says, like, well, the problem is you sacrificed your speed for power, and that form isn't really good for long fights. You should be aiming for something like Super Saiyan 2. And so Goku goes Super Saiyan 2, Caulifla gets really excited, and she says, I've been able to do that before, I just haven't been able to do it since. So she's been able to do it once, and she hasn't been able to repeat the process to go Super Saiyan 2 again. Which at first I thought that was super cool, because at least it shows that she's struggling to get into that mode. But the quote is a complete throwaway. It doesn't even matter a couple seconds afterward because she goes Super Saiyan 2 almost immediately with no problems. So I don't know what that quote was there for. It served absolutely no purpose whatsoever. And it's not like she was saying, I haven't been able to do it since. I'm like, didn't you just go Super Saiyan 2 like 2 hours ago? Like, in real time, you went Super Saiyan 2 like freaking like a couple of hours ago. What are you talking about? I guess my point here is that she makes it seem as if this was so long ago. It's like, back in the good old days when I could turn good old Super Saiyan 2, I can't do that anymore, Goku. I can't do it. Can't do it no more. And it's like, what are you talking about?
So they start going at it, and I did notice that there was like a slight change in the shading of their hair as they fight. Look at that. So it's a little bit more orangey type of hair that they have going on. Anyway, Kale, I don't know if she's lesbian. I don't know if she has a crush on Caulifla or whatever, but she gets jelly. She kind of gets ignored. She asks her, am I just a bother? And Caulifla doesn't respond, which, that was kind of a dick move. And then she gets really, really angry. She goes Berserker mode. And oh boy, this is the thing, right? Like, you get this shot of like some of the top guys on the platform, and they're like, okay, we noticed this transformation. So right off the bat, you know that this is not just like another Super Saiyan transformation like it would be normally for the universe 6 Saiyans, right? Even Vegeta tells Goku, yo, you better watch it, because I think that's like a Saiyan's true form, which what does that even mean? We don't know. And in a nutshell, I think that's the main issue here, is that this new transformation, Kale's feats in this episode, came at us and completely surprised us. It was like, what is going on? Like, I had my suspicion that she would be the strongest out of the Universe 6 Saiyans, but not like this. I mean, she's literally breaking the Kachikachin just by stepping on it, like making Earth levitate at will, to create a platform, blasting all these people, all right? Tanking a Super Saiyan God, Kamehameha. What is going on? This was just so surprising. It was shocking. Especially considering the fact that her base, as we see in this episode, is so weak.
She is so vulnerable in her base form that Zoidberg's punches were pretty much about to KO her. It was crazy. And so the leap, from her base to Berserker mode is gargantuan. That is one heck of a leap in terms of power. And so people begin to question whether or not it's a credible leap, right? Because you have her tanking, again, that Blue Kamehameha, which, by the way, we know Krillin in the recruitment arc. He stood his ground against Goku's Kamehameha, so it doesn't really mean that much because they already messed that up. But if you want to keep the consistency with the story, these are important aspects that we have to consider. Why is she so strong? What is going on? She grabs Goku like Hulk grabbed Loki in the Avengers and just smashes him on the ground, okay? Then he goes Super Saiyan 2. That doesn't do anything. She tanks all the Super Saiyan 2 hits, which automatically puts her above Caulifla in terms of power, because Caulifla Super Saiyan 2 versus Goku, you can tell Goku was holding back in Super Saiyan 2. So automatically Kale is above Caulifla right there. And then Goku goes blue, and she walks through the Kamehameha. So this is a very bad situation, folks. As we saw in the episode, Jiren had to step in. Jiren had to be the one to force her out of this mode. It's incredible. Just out of control berserker mode, so powerful. Okay, and to be fair, I do think that the people that disliked this part of the episode, I think personally, this part of the episode would have benefited immensely from us getting a little bit of background, a little bit of a backstory on Kale's transformation, explaining why it's like the true form of a Saiyan, why it's so strong. If we had gotten that bit of information as build-up, as setup before this happened, I guarantee you not a whole lot of people would be complaining right about now. But because we didn't get it and it was so new, people were like, wait, where did this even come from?
There is a little bit of good news in this, and that it's not that broken. It's not that overpowered of a form, because according to Piccolo in the episode, she can't control it, which is a very common thing to do in Dragon Ball, where it's like, in order for the mode to be nerfed a little bit, you gotta say, yeah, it's new, so they can't control it. So it's a very common thing that Dragon Ball does.
Now, because of some spoilers that came out, we know for a fact that Goku and the Universe 6 Saiyans will be teaming up together momentarily, I assume, to fight some of the Pride Troopers. In the preview, you also get to see 17 and 18 doing their thing, so I can't wait to see some combos from them. But yeah, the big thing is it's Universe 6 Saiyans and Goku versus the Pride Troopers. And judging from this shot from the preview, it almost seems as if Caulifla is about to sacrifice herself for her protege, for Kale. So I really do think that Kale will be one of those final top fighters standing in the Tournament of Power. Just look at Kale's reaction. It seems like she's about to lose her. And this may be the motivation that Kale may need to stay focused and actually, work on fighting properly in the tournament, because she lost Caulifla and she's like, you got to stay in there. Stay in there for me. In addition, we know from the spoilers that we will be focusing on Roshi pretty soon. And you know how this poster came out? Well, there was some text that was translated recently from a scan with this same image that says that Goku's back in this poster signifies that a terrible event will occur, will happen. And so my guess is that Roshi will die. I've said this before, but I do think that Roshi is going to die. He's going to get killed in the Tournament of Power, and I don't think he's coming back. And I think that's going to be Goku's breaking point in achieving this new fiery, steamy mode, unfortunately.
I also thought it was kind of cool how Jiren's energy blast that he sent over to Kale, he could control that long range. He knew exactly when to detonate that blast to have its effect. So that's going to be a problem. Also, going back to the power scaling discussion, since Kale Berserker mode tanked a Blue Kamehameha and Jiren's blast was capable of stopping Kale, that means that at the very least, currently Jiren is Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken level. At minimum, okay? Because of what he did to Kale and because of Kale's tanking capabilities. So in other words, a Blue Kamehameha from Goku is going to do absolutely nothing to Jiren at this point. Also, shout out to Hit for being a team player and stopping Caulifla from being eliminated with his time jump. I thought that was super cool. Very, very chill, very relaxed. And he knows that Jiren is trouble, because when Kale is going berserker, all right, he says to Caulifla, this is bad. And Caulifla's like, yeah, I know. For Kale.
In general, though, I thought episode 100 was a pretty good showcase of the talent and the skill and the power from the Universe 6 members in the tournament.
And that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And tell me your thoughts, not only about episode 100, but about the reaction from the fandom to the episode. What do you think? Please let me know. Comment section down below. Thanks.